So we'll start with picking up where we left off with the placement exercise.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you want to try to get him to go ahead and place on here.
Hey, Bodi, watch me. Bodi, watch me. Watch me. Place. Place.
Perfect.
Good place.
And then I'll hold the leash first, and then
Okay.
maybe Dad can spot next time.
Okay.
So right there, right? So if he, if you get him to place on before you start moving or anything, asking him to stay.
Okay. Place. Hey, Bodi, watch me. Place. Place. Come on. Place. Come on. Good
There you go.
boy. Sit. Okay. Stay. Stay.
So now whoever is spotting should be helping him if necessary, but it should be done usually on his own and then with your prompt. So I'm not going to try to hold him back, but if he starts to kind of move off of it, and she does the verbal reinforcement of stay, and I help with the leash a little bit.
Which would be you.
So I'll just show him what it looks like for now. Good. So now that he's staying, good. Go ahead and go this way and take a couple steps towards the cones there. And he's gonna rotate around, and you just keep an eye on him. All right, right there. So as soon as he moves, ask him to stay again, and that's when you, as the spotter, right? You just make sure he. Oh, wait. Go ahead and try to come back and reset him. Perfect. Good.
Boy.
Now try to go just to the in between the first two cones with him staying there.
Stay. Stay.
Good. Now that he's staying there and you got there, oh, almost. Now get his attention and release him after the.
Bodi. Hey, Bodi. Bodi.
Right.
Bodi, go.
Perfect.
Good boy.
There you go.
Good boy.
So
Okay.
he sits, he stays on her command. You help out if necessary, but don't be holding him back the whole time. Just, you know, spot for him. And then you're. If he's really struggling, let her know, and she should also see, and then she should come back in. Because most of the time, especially with younger pups, they're just drawn back to us, which is fine because, you know, we want that kind of maternal bond. But that also is what we're working on discipline-wise and obedience building. Is him, despite him really wanting to be with us, holding because of our command and only releasing when we ask him to, right? So it's really helping to develop his own like self-control.
Right.
Right. So, yep. So I'll give this to him, and your goal eventually is to go all the way down then, and then release him to come to you. But just go a little bit at a time.
All right. Hey, Bodi. Bodi. Hey.
And then we'll swap.
Place. Place. Place.
Perfect.
Good place.
Aw. The ground's a little uneven.
Really?
I'll step on this one.
Okay. Place.
There you go.
Place. Oh, good place.
So now just slowly back up
Stay.
and just keep an eye
Do I
on
look
him.
at him or my back to him?
Oh, you can walk backwards. You want to keep an eye on him because you need to know when he's going to break.
Stay.
Yep. Almost. Good.
Please.
Okay. Do we both give command or just her?
Stay.
Just her, but you help. Right, there you go. That's perfect.
Stay.
Good, there you go.
Stay.
Sit. Buddy.
Please.
Good, there you go. So now this time don't move away so quickly.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And just have him stay for a bit and then release him, right, when he gets his attention.
Bodi.
So try to, there you go.
Good boy. Good boy. That was
Right.
a really good boy. Good boy.
Because you can see, because she just moving back is almost pulling him, right? So we have to kind of develop his sit and stay first before making it harder.
Okay.
So that's why either stay closer and then release, or go slowly further away.
Hey, Bodi. Come here. In place. Place. Right here. Place.
I'm gonna go ahead and give him a treat for getting up there too. Will help as
boy.
well.
Place.
Come on.
Come on, Bud. Place. Come on.
Got it?
Good. Sit. Good boy.
Good.
Tell him to stay.
Stay.
Good.
Stay.
Now just reinforce the stay when you think he's gonna move.
Stay. Stay.
Perfect. There you go.
Stay. Come. Good boy. Good boy.
Good.
Good boy.
Now the part that you'll know he's starting to get it is when you see like a shift in his behavior. He'll try to move so often that you have to either correct him and he kind of gives up and then just kind of stays and slumps down, or like a lot of dogs will lay down.
Okay.
That's a good sign because it's showing that he's settling into that stay.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Right?
understand.
Mhm. We don't always want to force it, but sometimes just this is one of those things that's like patience,
Okay.
right? Than anything else. Like right now, he's just laying down perfectly calm
Yes,
and staying. So
exactly.
go ahead and ask him to stay and then slowly move back. We don't even need the board right now, right? And try to get to the second cone and then get his attention and then you release it and he'll come to her.
Stay. Stay. Good boy. Good boy.
Good. Here, let me switch to the longer leash for you. We'll try one more time and then we'll switch.
Place. Place. Good. Hey. Good. Stay. Stay. Stay.
So step back in too. If you see that
Okay.
he's
Oh,
moving
I
to
see.
come to you, step back in, tell him to stay.
Good.
There you
Stay.
go. Slow.
Stay. Good. Sit.
Let him get settled in before you move again, right? So this will take some patience on your part as well. Okay. Now he's distracted. Go ahead and slowly move away.
One step.
Oh.
Sit. Good. Stay. Stay. Stay.
Like I said, careful with repeating it because
Oh.
that can make him jump the gun too. Especially if
okay.
he's not already about to move.
Okay.
Just that voice or that sound.
Okay.
And he's like, he might think of that as like the gun going off in a race, right?
Okay.
It's perfectly quiet and then bang. We kind of want that same thing here, right?
okay.
So now that he's not even paying attention, try to get to the second or third one
Okay.
and then get his name, say his name, and then call him to you.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Perfect. There you go.
Good boy. Good boy.
Right? So right now your issue is, from what I see, just trying too hard to get him to stay, and that's actually kind of upping his excitement to be with her.
Okay.
So then as soon as she moves back, he's already like, yeah, let's go.
I just say stay one time, back up, and if he starts going, then go forward,
Mhm.
and then don't say anything. Just wait till he sits down again and start backing up again, but don't say stay.
Yeah, or you can say it, but just say it once, right?
Okay, not multiple times. Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha. Do you have treats, DJ?
I don't.
Here, I'll trade you.
All right.
Oh, here we go. And then go ahead and give him a treat for jumping up on there. And that'll help to continuously
Bodi.
encourage
DJ,
that as well.
Place is this. You
Bodi,
have to do
place.
this. Place. Like
Bodi.
with your right hand.
Bodi,
As
hey.
soon as he...
Drop it. Drop it. Bodi. Bodi. Come on. Place.
Almost.
Bodi. Place.
And move your hand closer to it. There you go.
Bodi. Place.
There you go.
Good boy. Sit. Sit. Good boy.
Good.
Good
So now I'll spot for you the first time, and then we'll have your wife do it
Stay.
the second time.
Bodi. Hey. Bodi.
He's not paying attention. You just walk away.
Or the fact that he's staying is right, what you
he's
focus
doing a
on.
good job. Oh.
There you go. Then see how far back you can go before he wants to get back with you. And this
You
is
got a
what
treat, DJ, in your hand?
this is what I mean by him settling in, right?
Okay, good.
He's staying. We don't have to reinforce it, so
Yeah.
why reinforce it, right?
Why do we keep saying? Why do I keep saying? I got this.
And then all he has to do is get his attention with his name, and then give him that release or recall command.
Here he comes.
Perfect.
Good boy.
There you go.
I gotta go with my face.
No problem. Perfect. Got it on the first shot. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit harder for her because he's just used to being with mom too, and that's
Right,
natural. But that's why it's still really good practice now, while he's still got that bond, and then later on when he kind of gets into his independent stage, you won't have that benefit, but you'll have the training and the obedience kind of built in.
Right. Sheet take off.
Grab more treats.
Got it.
And pay attention to when, oh, there you go. Give him a second here. And then just pay close attention, because when he actually responds off that leash pressure, that's when you say that good boy, right? Because he's going the other way, you want him to go this way. There you go, good. And you got your attention back again. Very good.
Good boy.
Good.
Good boy. Okay, I tried much.
Now we're gonna play to your strengths.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold the leash,
All right.
so you have no leash pressure,
Okay.
and you just get him to follow you using only verbals.
Oh, okay. God, thank God. Buddy, watch me. Good. Watch me. Come on, buddy. Hey. Hey. Come on, watch me.
Good. There you go.
Good. Watch mommy. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Hey, buddy. Hey, watch me. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Hey, buddy. Right here. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh, good, good. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Place. 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 And place. Good boy.
Good job.
Good job.
All right, now it'll be
job.
Dad's turn.
So while I'm thinking of it, and while I'm hearing it, so the neighbors that live directly behind us, they got 2 Dalmatians and they bark
Oh yeah, I saw.
all the time. So
Last time you found me.
they're like, and she's very like, if I'm out there, she'll
I'll
open
get
the
some more.
door,
I
let the
gotta
dogs
run to
out
the
to bark at us all the time. So my concern is I don't want Bodi to pick up that barking. So I don't know how to.
That's gonna be a hard one because, kind of like with kids, we want to try to influence them positively as much as possible, even though there's always going to be outside factors that can influence them negatively. So, so if he starts barking back at them, would be maybe the time to kind of redirect him or to just take him back inside to cut him from that. Just because usually the barking is because they are either interested or want to engage. And so the only way really to remove that option or that possibility of the bad behavior developing is to remove that situation. Yeah, it's going to be hard. It's like when like male dogs, they'll only sometimes learn to actually lift up if they see other dogs, and then also when some dogs will kind of scratch up or kind of dig up after they go potty, other dogs will pick up after that behavior as well if they see them. So there's certain things that you can do your best to kind of control and avoid, and then sometimes it's just their own personality. You'll have some dogs that'll bark through the fence at another dog all day, and the other dog just sits there and be like, why? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So
He's been good about just sitting there and just kind of looking at him. He hasn't barked or anything, but I can see him picking that up. At some point,
once you can kind of go on like consequence and correcting that behavior afterwards
drop it.
with like oh, very good, there you go.
Boy, sit.
So like people will use like an anti-bark collar or something like that. So those are things that like you have to kind of get him to fail first, and then he gets a consequence for. Or like I said, if you see the dog start barking and he starts getting more and more interested, maybe going to a different area or putting him back inside until they're back outside, or taking them to the fence so that way once they're there, maybe they stop barking because he's right there playing with them. Things like that. It's going to be pretty much impossible to avoid him picking up all bad habits. Do our best, and then we just kind of work from there. Because as much as we want to keep them in a bubble, it's gonna eventually burst. So it's almost better to kind of prepare him for those things. So if you see their neighbors and their dogs come out and they start barking, teaching him to focus on you and sit or do something else for a treat, right? So that way, even if he does start barking, you know that if you say, "Hey, Bodi, come here, let's go do this," instead, he'll stop barking and he'll follow you, right? So, because sometimes it'll be good for a dog to bark, because if like him and your other pup, there was somebody sneaking around in the backyard, we want them to alert, right? But we want them to be able to control that alert. So, hey, thanks for letting us know, you can stop now.
Right, good job.
Right?
Yeah.
Because especially with things like barking, that's like one of those super natural things for a lot of dogs. Luckily, he's not like a guard dog or anything like that, because some dogs are more predispositioned for that behavior, and some aren't. So it just really depends.
Yeah, I was just concerned that she just leaves him out and lets him bark.
Yeah.
I didn't want them to condition him that it was okay to mark successfully.
Yeah.
I sent him letters and she
All right.
flips me off.
All right. Go. You do your thing.
It's hard because sometimes like those ultrasonic devices, sometimes they work, sometimes the dogs just get used to hearing it and they just bark through it anyways too.
I just clean my weapons out there.
Okay.
Don't pull on him. Just redirect him. Go, like, get him.
Well, if he's trying for leash pressure.
I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, I thought
wasn't-
we just wanted him to come over there, not just like pull on him.
You want to do this? I wasn't doing it. Please. Please. Sit.
Good. There you go. So go ahead and try to get him to go your way here. Right? Almost, and then when he does pay attention, there you go, and then release tension. If you do get his attention, you can feel free to encourage him to continue following you. All right, and you'll see this when we play back the video. He's having a hard time following us and maintaining focus, whereas he had no problems with you because he had focus on you almost 100% of the time, right? Good, there you go. Oh, another thing is to try not to give a command until you've gotten his attention, right? So a lot of times we need to actually put more effort into getting his attention first than the actual command, but most parents will do like place, place, place. They'll put more effort on the command even though they haven't invested where they should. Yeah, it's a pretty common error. Good, there you go. And then get your finger down closer to it to see if that helps. Because he's following your finger. There you go. Good. Yeah. So now I'll try doing the opposite.
Okay.
And just trying to get him to follow you with just verbals.
Bodi. Bodi. Hey. Hey. Bodi. Hey. Bodi. Bodi. Bodi.
Try to get a little bit closer.
Bodi. Bodi. Bodi.
Try to get in front of him and then try to turn him back around.
Bodi. Bodi. Hey. Good boy. Listen. Hey. 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 Bodi. 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 Bodi.
It's harder, right?
Bodi.
Good. So now that you actually have his attention,
Come on. Let's go.
try to have him just follow you. So you keep going that way, and I'll hold him this way.
Bodi. Come on. Bodi. Hey. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, Bodi. Hey. Good boy. Good boy.
There you go. So when he looked at you, that would have been that moment to be like, yes, and then just like try to reel him in some more.
Hey. 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 Hey.
This will also be easier inside when there's less distractions on the ground.
Bodi. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Hey. Hey. I'm my own dog. Come on, buddy. Yeah. Come on.
There you go, good.
Good boy.
And then go ahead and give him that treat.
Good boy. Good boy.
And then when you get his attention again, there you go.
Good boy. Good boy.
Almost.
Come on, buddy. boy.
And now try to be really excited, maybe run back over this way and try to invite him to play.
All right, hey, Bodi. Bodi. Come on. Come on, Bodi.
There you go.
Come on, Bodi. Good boy.
Good, there you go.
Good boy.
And this teaches us one very important thing, especially when working with puppies. We try so hard to kind of force something to happen that it almost discourages him from following, like we were talking about before. Whereas if you just kind of talk to him as if you want to engage with him positively in play or something like that, then he's like, oh, what now? What's Dad doing? What are we going to do together? So part of the reason why he's following her so well is just because that bond is there. And part of the frustration that you're experiencing is because of that lack of the bond. So I would almost take a step back in your case, and instead of trying to constantly get him to do things, just play with him. Call him over to you just for a treat and just for some pets.
Okay.
Have him follow you around because you have a toy and you're engaging with him. Really try to take some more time to work on building a bond as opposed to getting him to listen to your commands.
Being that authoritarian.
And that'll actually make your life a lot easier because now he'll want to focus and listen to you more.
Do male dogs lick themselves all the time? Or
It
am
depends
I
on the
supposed
pup.
to trim? Like, I just don't know.
No, it's usually fine.
All right. I just didn't know. If that
Unless
was-
he's doing it
That's like-
excessively and
no,
it's causing any kind of injuries, I wouldn't worry about it.
I've never had a boy.
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
had a boy.
No, they'll get into their stuff every now and then.
I've never had a boy. Never had a boy.
Yeah.
So if you want, you can spot for her while
Okay.
she's trying to get him to follow him. And we'll probably call it from there because I think he's pretty tired too.
Bodi, Bodi. Bodi, Bodi. Hey, there's my boy. Come here, Bodi. Yeah. Come. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Let's go. Watch me. Come on, Bodi. Watch me. Come on. Good boy. Watch me. Oh, good boy. Come here. Hey, Bodi. Hey, hey. Come on. That's mom. Hey, come on. Come on. Good boy. Watch me. Come on. Come on. Watch me. Watch me. Come on. Come on. Come on, Bodi.
Good. There you go.
Oh,
Good.
grab it. Grab it.
Good. There you go. See, it's a lot more tiring, but it's also a lot more engaging, right? Especially for us when we're not kind of used to kind of cheerleading and playing at that level.
Right.
But you can see how much it really helps her out.
Right.
And then if you want a spot for Dad, we'll let Dad try one more time.
All right. You got treats?
Treats, toys, anything
Yeah.
to kind of help him
That's true.
just want to be with you, right? And want to play with you.
Focus on me. Focus on me. Come on. Come on, Bodi. Come on. Hey, Bodi. Hey, come on.
There you go. He's thinking about it. There you go.
Boy.
Good. There you go. Good. There you go. And guide him through.
Good boy. Hey.
Good.
Boy. Hey. Focus.
There you go. Good. There you
There
go.
you go. Good job,
Good.
Bodi.
There you go.
Sit.
Good job.
There you go.
Good job.
And that's one of those important lessons to learn when it comes to working with dogs, and especially puppies.
Right.
You know, it's not always just about being disciplined. It's
Right.
not always about understanding a command. Sometimes it's just about getting them
Fun.
wanting to do it.
Right.
Right. Just want to have fun. These puppies just want to.
Boy. Good boy. Stay. Stay.
Oh, sorry.
Right? That's
Yeah.
okay. So that's why parents need practice
Yeah.
too, because we all saw him start to move, but we were
Right.
all too late to react,
I
right?
know. I just didn't know when the exact time.
Please.
Right?
Please. Please.
And so now you can
Don't
kind of
push him.
see. There you go. He'll do it on his own.
Yeah.
Get your
There
butt.
you go.
Sit.
Perfect.
Good boy.
So now you can see Dad's having the same problem as Mom, because
Right.
now that he's focused on Dad moving away, he
Right.
wants to come with.
Right.
That's fine. So that means you just either have to slow down, there you go, or wait. There you go, perfect. And then just get ready to redirect him to stay if he sees you and then immediately wants to come to you. Because right now we're just using ourselves as like that target. Whereas like with her, for example, you would practice the same thing, but you'd have her stay even though there's a dog walking across the street.
That's what it has.
So you can use all these tools for her as well, right? Having her be disciplined, focus on you until you release her.
Bodi. Bodi. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Good Bodi.
Perfect.
Bodi. Good. Sit. Sit.
Good job.
Boy.
Good boy.
There you go.
Good job.
Good boy. Let's go see mom.
There you go. And then if you want to swap, we'll have mom try again.
Yep.
Good boy.
You were, yeah.
Good boy.
Please.
All these distractions.
Yep.
Good boy.
All right, so he sees her. Good. Good stop. Yep. Good. That's good. There you go.
Should I call him?
Sit.
I would wait for him to reset first.
Bodi. Bodi. Sit. Go.
There you go.
Good boy.
Okay, and now that he's settled in, then get his attention and then recall him to you.
Buddy? Buddy? Buddy, come. Buddy, come.
Perfect. There you go.
Good boy.
Good. There you
Good
go.
boy.
So, like I said, not only are we practicing sit, stay, but we're also name recognition and then also recall.
Okay.
So it's a really good overall
With
exercise.
everything in it, yep.
Now, so far we've mostly just worked on 2 of the D's, distance and distraction. Another thing that you'll want to develop is just duration. And this is where you'll see a lot of other trainers outside and about, like on a busy street, and they'll just be on the corner and the dog just sits, stays. No matter who comes by, no matter what loud, car approaches or something like that, they have to just stay there for an extended duration. And that helps with desensitizing them, helps with getting them settled into a point. Gets them used to, especially with puppies, not always feeling like they gotta go and do something all the time. Right? Stay calm, here, focused on me. And now when I move, now we can go, right? So distance, duration, and distractions. 3 Ds, you kind of work on those as much as you can to help kind of solidify them. Now I'll show you a distraction if you want to both try to get them to sit, stay, and then I'll generate a distraction and you try to keep them there. Oh, he might have to go potty. Yeah, we'll let him go.
You got pee-pee?
Good boy.
Come on. You got pee-pee? Hey, buddy. You got pee-pee? Where's the pee-pee? You got pee-pee?
Might just explore a little bit first. It looks like he's looking for a spot too.
I don't like him to be in his yard. I'm sure he appreciates it.
Good boy.
I want him to be in his yard.
Good job. All right. All right.
Good. Good. Good boy. Buddy. Hey, buddy.
We're already working through distractions.
Come on now.
Exactly.
All right.
Please.
There you go.
Good
So now
boy.
just try to get him to stay there with you, and I'll try to make a distraction.
Yep.
I didn't know to stop. I didn't know if I was supposed to stop. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But you kind of see where stay doesn't just mean stay and not come to me, but it
Okay.
just means stay there, don't move, don't go towards whatever you're interested in.
And then when you made that distraction, I just say stay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Get him to focus back onto you
Okay.
as opposed to whatever
The
he was
distraction.
distracted by.
Got it.
Mhm. So that's the recovery process.
Okay. Hey, buddy. Come here. Please. Please.
All right. So now keep an eye on him, ask him to stay, get a treat ready if you need.
Okay.
And this is where you kind of combine that leave it practice with the sit, stay, and place, right? Because he's technically leaving this, right? Good, there you go. Good.
boy.
There you go.
Hey, buddy, watch me. Good boy. Boy, watch me. Watch today.
Good. There you go.
Boy.
There you go.
Okay, I love that.
And this is where you can make a fun game with it out of your partner.
Right.
One person tries to get him to stay, and the other
Right.
person tries to get him to
Distract him.
try to get him to come to him.
Right.
All right. You guys have any questions on that?
No, that's awesome. I love that. I love that we have the he like Reno's thing in the back, so that's a good. We already since we already have it. It's nice that we can do a place and stay with that in the backyard. So.
Having a physical thing just really helps because getting him off the ground gets his nose out of it, and it also just gives you a physical spot that he has to stay in.
Right.
But you can always practice the same thing without anything as well, right? I had a dog before, all this stuff, just having them stay on that side, and then me trying to see how many squares on the sidewalk I can get away and recall.
Making it a game like that.
It's all you just apply the same exact ideas and concepts. That's all it is. It's just sometimes these tools and markers help, especially with the next exercise, which will just be a little bit of directional leash work.
Okay.
Having physical markers for people that are guiding can sometimes help as well, but then I'll show you how to do the exercise without it too.
Okay.
All right, if you want to go ahead and swap him back onto his normal leash. So this next exercise will be a guidance exercise for the handler, and then a leash pressure exercise and recognition for the dog.
Okay.
All right.
I know, it's so fun.
This should be pretty easy, but try to have him kind of follow you and go either in between the cones to the left or to the right, and just kind of go all the way down.
Zigzag? Like go like that, like a figure eight kind of? Okay.
Whichever way that you want to go. The main thing is, just keeping him on that leash and then using it whenever you need it, but trying to keep it loose when you don't need it. Perfect, there you go. Because that's the thing, if he's focused and following you, he's not going to be pulling on the leash and you don't need the leash pressure. But once he gets distracted like that, go ahead and use, there you go. Go ahead and just use the leash pressure to let him know which way you're going.
That's the big thing I noticed when I'm out here trying to just get him out here to walk around the gate. Is he just, he likes to sit, do his own thing, and he won't really want to follow me.
Yeah.
So I never knew how much pressure to put on there.
We want to try to put as little pressure as possible, right? Because if he gets used to us having to tug him along, then you'll always have to tug him along. But if he starts getting used to light pressure and then recognizing it, and then knowing that he has to, when he feels that, pay attention to where you are and go that way, then that's where your life will be easier. I'll do one round here for you.
Go.
If I get a couple treats, there you go. Right? So same thing, Bodi. All right, so I'm just gonna apply a little bit of pressure. Yes, this way. Yes, good job, right? So not hard pressure, nothing too sharp or anything yet, because I want him to try to be as responsive to as little pressure as possible, right? Just wants to go back to mom, right? That's understandable.
Yeah.
I just want him to come this way, so just slowly adding a little bit of pressure. Yes, good job. Until it's easier to follow me and listen to the pressure than it is to ignore it. So now it's still his decision, right? But I'm kind of influencing it because it's now easier to kind of pay attention to the leash. Yes, good job. And then in between. And this is perfect because he's just focused on going that way, but we want him to learn to... Yes, this way. Good boy. Come. And that'll be always something too. There's always going to be distractions and things on the ground. Right? Yes. Oh, almost. Yes, good boy. This way. Very good. Good. Right? And you can see the difference because he was so focused on her, you didn't need the leash pressure, right? So ultimately the leash is to help us get focus. Okay? Same with verbals. The reason why we're going to separate the two is so that way you can see what he's actually learning to respond to, because a lot of times we'll do both at the same time. We'll be like Bodi and we'll pull, right? Whereas if the leash is has no tension on it, and then we say, Bodi, Bodi. He makes some noise. Come. Good boy. We know that he's listening and responding off of that. Mm-hmm. And then this way, right? Yes, good boy. Good. Because I didn't prompt him or make a noise to get his attention, I just used the leash. So try it one more time, but just use the leash, and this will help show you what you're inadvertently doing as well. So this time, try not to use any verbals except for good boy when he starts following you. Just try to use leash pressure to guide him when he starts going the wrong way. Right? So she's already using verbals.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, and you can still pay attention to him and tell him he's doing a good job when he's following you. It's just when you need to get his attention or need to change direction, like right now, just use the leash. Gentle. So you can see how hard it was for her.
I know, I'm so like a horse, like, you know.
Right? Go ahead and try one more time, and then we'll switch the exercise. So no verbal. Just try to get him to follow you using a little bit of leash pressure. But then when he does follow you, make sure that you let him know that he's doing the right thing. There you go. Good. Good. Oh. Good. There you go.